What is up, everybody? I'm here again with another deck profile, this time for my ABC deck that I managed to get first place at my locals, Murillo Digital Systems, on their Friday and Saturday night tournament. This deck is super fun because I really like combo decks, and this deck has a lot of different things that it can do in a turn. It can play through Ash super well, and it doesn't want to be stopped. It's so great. It has all the power that you can imagine, and I just enjoy it a lot. So let's get into it. 2A, 2C, and 3B. This is my lineup that I have. I like this because I don't feel like it's necessary to carry these, being that they're just mostly there as building blocks to get you to your boss monster, and B being the most important one, searches for every piece, including himself, is just so strong that it's kind of like the necessary one to play with a higher ratio. 3 Ash and 2 Valor. This card is super strong. Actually, I've found this card to be a lot stronger than Ash Blossom, being that this hits so many cards and negates them for the whole turn. I've stopped things like Overraptor and Hero Vylon, and just so many good cards get stopped by this card. It has so much potential, being that it touches things that Ash can't get to. My Brilliant package, I play 1 Garnet and 1 Trick Clown. The Destrudo, kind of like necessary. You need to really rely on field spells for this deck. If you don't draw into one of these, you can't win. You can't play the game. I've lost games because I didn't have any of my field spell lineup that I needed. 3 Terra, 2 Ravine, 3 Union, and 1 set rotation. Playing as many copies as you can to get to them. If you can get to your Dragon Ravine and a level 4, you can get into your Union Hanger and Ancient Fairy, which means that you're able to play the game. 2 Desires and an Upstart Goblin for consistency. 3 Brilliance. I really like the Brilliant variant of the deck because it puts so many cards into the graveyard and it thins out the deck, and it just gives you such a big advantage if you pop it off. Yeah, I've drawn the Garnet, and Saryuja does put it back. There is always going to be that possibility, but I just feel like Brilliant Fusion is like the strongest way to go. The One-Ofs, the Dragon Shrine, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, Soul Charge. When you resolve this, if you make a Saryuja and then resolve this, like how I do, you just win the game after that. You get such a big advantage. You'll end your turn with like 6 cards in your hand, some set back row, and a full board of monsters. 2 Cosmics. One of the best decisions I ever decided. I put this card in. It helped me so much. I've hit anti-spell fragrances with this. True King Revival. I've always underestimated back row hate, but this card has won me games on its own too. 2 Torrent for board wipes. Board wipes are so powerful. They pendulum summon, and you wipe out the whole thing, and it wins you the game like that. Imperial Order, I never saw it, so I can't really talk about it, but I just know that if you flip it, you win. And 1 Warning, just because it's generic. For the side deck, I played 2 Droll, 2 Danko. I did side this in against True Draco when he had, I think, 3 sets at the end of his turn when he demised, and when I hit him with this card just put in so much work stopping him as long as I needed him to be stopped. Raigeki Dark Hole, board wipes, the 3rd Cosmic Cyclone, the 3rd Torrent, Solemn Strike, 2 Evenlies. This card has put in more work than any other card that I've played in a side deck. I won both the tournament final games in game 2 because they would go first, and then I would draw for turn and go into my battle phase and drop this, and I've taken like 6 or 7 cards, and once you do that, they cannot come back. 2 Dimensional Barrier. This is for pendulums. Solemn Judgment, and I side 1 Tornado Dragon just for the game 2s when I'm playing up against like heavy back row decks. I put this in against True Dracos, and it helps with disrupting their chain links and when they try to flip things up on my turn. For the extra deck, obviously 3 ABC Dragon, 1 Seraphinite for the fusions, 1 Tapir. I actually think that I'm going to swap this and the Tornado out for each other, but I did play this. I did summon it. It's so strong. It still stops a lot of boards from being made and from boss monsters getting onto the field, like ABC Dragon or Makaba. When you hit them with this, it turns their monsters into vanillas. Ancient Fairy, please don't get hit. This card is so strong in the deck. This is like why it can play. It's such a powerful card, being able to get you your other field spell for the Destrudo play. It guarantees you a Union Hanger as long as you open like a field spell, and it just has such crazy combo potential. For the links, I played a lot of links because I'm really starting to get into them, being that they're so powerful. I like what you can do like when they combo with each other. So I have a few little niche combos that I can do with them. Saryuja obviously being the best one. Topologic, I did get a game with this card because I summoned it and he had a Masterpiece on board and he had like 3,000 life points left, and I hit over it, and then this did the burn damage that I needed, obviously, for 2950 and then 50 for the remainder, which got me the game. Underclock Taker, kind of the go-to one, the first step in all of the link spamming. Proxy Dragon, Cliffort Genius. I don't really get to make this a lot because Ancient Fairy is my main go-to monster, so I never get him to point down, but still a really good card. It turns off floodgates when you need to. I hit anti-spell with this a lot of times. It's really good. Akashek. I never used her, but I know she's really good, being she can bounce the monsters back to the hand. Decode, obviously. Triple Burst Dragon. This card is really crazy too. I was summoning this and it had piercing damage, and some people would drop Honest and they don't know that this card negates during damage. So it's just kind of like a really cool tool for when you're playing against like other toolboxy decks like Light Swords and stuff. And then my boy Trigate Wizard. I was putting out boards that looked like this. They had like this and then this and then this over here on the corner, and then the Proxy Dragon, and then ABC Dragon would be right here. And it was just like a really big, sick, impervious board. When you get Soul Charge, you're pretty much like guaranteed this. But another really cool thing I was doing was some people would be like setting cards and passing, and I was making these two on top of each other like this and pointing down, and this has piercing damage and this gives this double damage. So I was attacking monsters and sometimes they'd have like, I'd be dealing like 3,000-4,000 damage through that. I think somebody had a 0. Yeah, they had a 0 because they had a World Chalice monster set that they tribute summoned it and set it, and I hit for 48 damage through these two cards. So yeah, that's it.